This video is going to show upgrading a Dell Optiplex 7000 small form factor into my new server for Server 2022. We're going to go through this together in case anyone else ever wants to do it. So we have the Optiplex 7000 small form factor. We're going to upgrade it with 128 gigs of RAM, two 2 terabyte 990 Samsung Pros, and then two 4 terabyte 870 QVOs. We also have a 1 gigabit PCI Express Ethernet card because the built-in Ethernet card won't work in Windows Server, and then a mounting bracket for the two SSDs. So we're going to set all this stuff off to the side for the moment. And we'll open up the box. Now, I ordered it with no power cord, no mouse, no keyboard, so there's literally nothing in this box other than the actual computer. So if you're ever unboxing an Optiplex 7000, it will probably come with some other stuff, but I didn't need any of that stuff, so I didn't have them send me that stuff. So we will take out the actual machine and set the box aside. So here we have an Optiplex 7000, which is actually very similar to the Optiplex 5050 that I had before, and very similar to the Optiplex 5090 I think I also have. So we will open it up. And here we have the Optiplex 7000. Now, it only came with cabling for one additional SATA drive, but we will be using two. That's why I had to get the kit that I did. So step one is taking all this stuff out so we can upgrade things. So we will take the front panel off, and then take out the drive bay, then unlock this piece, and we'll have to get all these wires out of inside here. And now the question is, how does this come? There it goes. So that pops out of there. And we did actually get a CD-ROM drive in this, actually DVD-ROM drive, so we'll just leave that there for now and set it off to the side. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the whopping 4 gigabytes of RAM that I ordered because the RAM from Dell was super expensive. So we'll set that off to the side. And let's get our new RAM. If I was only installing 2 sticks, I would install them in the 2 black or the 2 white ones, but I'm going to install 4, so we'll just put them in all of them. So there we are. There's 64 gigabytes. And now we have 128 gigabytes. So the next thing is we're going to install the two NVMe SSDs. Now, one of the tricks here is they installed the 2230 drive in the slot where we need to put the 2280 drive. So we're going to, and I'm looking for, where's the other 2280 drive go? Does it go underneath this thing? Hopefully not. That seems kind of crazy. Oh, it goes right there. Okay. So let me grab my screwdriver. So we're going to take out this 2230 drive. And move it over. We'll take this little cute thermal pad. I don't know that this 2230 slow drive really needs a thermal pad, but we'll do it just in case. And we're going to move it over here to the 2230 slot. And so we're going to put this back in. And after I get this all back together, I will have to change the boot order to use the drive labeled as 2 instead of the drive labeled as 1 as the boot drive. But I'm going to erase everything that's on these drives anyway. The next step is we need to move the mounting screw from the 2230 slot to the 2280 slot. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. So now let's get our Samsung drives. Our NVMe Samsung drives, I should be more accurate in saying. So we're going to install this one in there. And I just realized one challenge. I don't have the mounting screws to put these in. So I will have to get some little screws to do that. So let's get the other one. This one's going to be a little trickier. I'm going to go in underneath this mounting bracket. And there we are. And the power cord is kind of in the way. There we go. Okay. There will probably be an edit here as I go and find some screws. After a quick 48-hour break to wait for some screws to arrive from an online retailer that everyone knows, we will try to now install the screws for these two NVMe SSDs. Oops, that was bad. Don't drop the screws. This is why you don't work on computers while they're on, because that would have definitely shorted something out. Okay. Oh, need a smaller screw head. Put little tiny screws. Let's see. Let's try this one. There we go. Yay, they work. So let's put the other one in. Okay, now we'll put the RAM back in that I had to take out. So that's our first 2 drives. Now we're going to install 2 more drives. These will be 4 terabyte SATA drives. So let's go in here, open one of these up. So these are Samsung 870 QVO drives, which you can go up to 8 terabytes currently. I just bought 2 4 terabyte drives because that's really all the storage I need. And the price goes up significantly when you go from 4 to 8 still. There's our 2 drives. And then I bought a little mounting kit to mount these drives on to the Dell mounting bracket. This is just a standard 2.5 to 3.5 inch converter mounting bracket, whatever you want to call it. So we will go through here. And so one of these, let's see, I don't know if it matters which direction this goes or not. We'll go that direction. Okay. Let's get the little screws out of here. So many little screws. Okay. This is always a fun trick because you got to hold the drive in place. I'm going to put my other screwdriver head back in. Got to put the 4 screws in for the first drive. Excuse me. I'm going to test something to make sure I can actually do it here. Let's make sure these can plug in with it mounted like this. Yep, okay. Just wanted to make sure those would actually fit. Okay. There we go. Now for drive number 2. There's actually, in this particular kit, 3 different size screws, depending on whether you're mounting to the bottom of a drive, the side of the drive, or mounting the drive into the holder itself. So you got to make sure you get the right screws and see if your hands will work properly doing it. Oh boy. Okay. Man. Okay. Normally I'd recommend not doing this over the actual computer, but I'm trying to show it on video, so I'm going to do it this way. See if I can actually get this one to start. If I get one to start, it gets so much easier because then I don't have to hold the drive anymore. Okay, there we go. Okay, can we get screw number 2 started? Okay. I know this doesn't make for terribly entertaining video, but gotta go through the process. Okay, now we should just be able to put this into the little mounting bracket. So now we got that all ready to go. The next trick is we got to get our cables all ready to go. So this little kit, one of the reasons I got it was it came with a splitter for the SATA power cables, because knowing these Dells, I knew it wouldn't have enough power cables inside the case to do this, even though they sell this as a kit, or there's a way to buy this with 2 SATA drives in it, but I don't know how to get them to send you those cables unless you buy the drives, and buying the drives from Dell was really expensive. So now we will put this in there, and this cable is way too long, but it's the only cable I got. Although, let me go see if I have a shorter cable. I'll be right back. Let's see, are these any shorter? Nope, exactly the same. Okay. If I had thought ahead, I would have ordered a shorter SATA cable, but we will make it work. Because it's a whole lot better to have too long a cable than too short a cable. Okay, so let's put all the drive cages back in place now. So this goes, let's see if I can get this back in. There we go. I think. Okay, that snaps back in. Let me put this thing back in somehow. There we go, it's back in. Now we will hook up all of our power cables. Oops, I put it in backwards. Whoopsie. Rubber thing fell out. Let's put that back in. Okay, try this again. Okay, now I can hook up the power cables. Hook up the SATA cables. I don't really care which one I'm doing which, because these are just going to be part of a storage pool. So whether one's SATA 1 or SATA 2 doesn't really matter to me. Once I get this hooked up, we'll bundle this wire back up just a little bit. Try to keep it out of the way. None of these components make a whole lot of heat, so I'm not too terribly worried about airflow inside this case. But we are going to try to tuck these out of the way just a little bit. So the last steps here for us is some network cards. So as I mentioned earlier, Intel doesn't like you using desktop network cards on the server OS. So you have to install a second one and basically ignore the built-in one. So here's a tiny little 1 gigabit or 2.5 gigabit card, which we are going to mount with the other bracket. So we're going to swap the bracket on here. And we're going to put the other bracket back on. This is the half height bracket because that's what this is a small form factor Dell which uses half height PCI slots. So we'll screw this back on. And this is kind of a no-name brand Ethernet card, but it's an Intel chip on it. So I feel confident in it being supported because it really matters what the chip is. It doesn't matter who makes it. It's an Intel card. So we put that in our little PCI 4 slot. Then we have a 10 gig card because this is going to be a server, and so we're going to hook it to 10 gig backplane. And again, we got to swap out the mounting plate. And this is another kind of generic 10G card, but it has an Intel chipset on it, so it's a very well supported card. I have these in other machines. You can just download the standard driver from Intel.com, or it's basically built into Windows. Oop, dropped a screw. There we go. Gotta wiggle this off because it's really tight. Put the other one on. Goes. I pushed that one too far. Okay, now let's screw it back on. Okay. Come on. This we're going to put in the 16X slot. It's only an 8X card, but it works fine in there. And close back up that. So we've now upgraded to 128 gigs of RAM. We have two 2 terabyte NVMe drives, two 4 terabyte SSD drives, a 2.5 gig card, and a dual 10 gig card, all inside this little Optiplex 7000 small form factor. It is what I like to affectionately call a cheap server. front back on. Put the lid back on. And so that's that done. I will add a little bit to the end of this video showing the BIOS screen and showing everything working, but that's how you upgrade an Optiplex 7000 small form factor to add a whole lot more to it than came from Dell. Thank you.